Invocation will be Julie Holt. Roll call, approval of minutes from the April 1st meeting. Proclamations will be commendation of JPD officer, Love Your Block update, and Public Art Commission for the FY25 report. On first readings, we have a budget proposed amendment to recognize insurance recovery and appropriate $66,346 for the repair of the roundabout wall.
I'm sure you all lost sleep over the roundabout wall being torn up.
We're working on it.
I just need some names or something.
You got the insurance money, it's the insurance money to repair the wall first of all.
Proposed budget amendments to transfer $38,000 from fire department travel to training membership for operating supplies due to the increased cost of medical supplies. Do y'all have anything that you would like to add? Thank you.
Not much, I've got questions.
Okay, thank you all. Number 3, proposed budget amendments to transfer $40,500 from the city recorder salaries to IT contractual services to implement TCM Enterprise Document Management System.
Can we talk about
Is
that?
that back up in the packet? For that?
Zach or?
The backup is in the packet for that one. What this is a piece of software. If you guys remember, or maybe you don't, at one time the city of Jackson had a piece of software called Images that they digitized a bunch of documents. It is deprecated and ancient. This one is the idea is that, well, right now every financial document that we have, we scan in already, which is why when Councilman Lawrence asked me about an invoice a minute ago, I was able to pull it up and look at it just right there. Really great stuff. But the only thing that we can actually store digitally are financial documents. This would expand the ability to store any kind of document, to search it, index it. It also has an option to make some of this releasable via the public, where you just hit a button and stick it on the public file share, that sort of stuff. It can be restricted to certain areas. So, for example, if Human Resources wants to use it for some of their software and it's a restricted document, they can do that. If you have visited me in my office, you see piles and piles and piles of paper. I hope to get rid of that with some of this. It came out of our budget because we had a surplus to do it. Brian said, we'll do it next year if we don't do it now. And I said, we can do it now. And that's why I said, let's go ahead. Because the faster we get it done, the faster we'll begin to start digitizing this stuff. I understand and that we will actually be able to import much of that Images information, Mr. Mayor, as well. And so work that they've done in the past, we won't even lose that. And so, I mean, it's going to be, and if you look at the purchase order, you'll see that the recurring cost isn't that high. This is just, it's about $24,000 to get going. It's about 16 a year. And so, I mean, it's going to be, but everybody from City Hall to police to fire to anybody that wants to be able to digitize their documents will be able to do that and have an easily searchable way to do that.
Larry, did you have an additional question or?
I was just looking in my backup here for the request on that.
This third.
So this, where in the checklist of who voted on it and who checked on it and all that. Go ahead, I'll look it up.
Well.
Okay, once we have this document, you can just look it up like that.
Oh, I'm on another one. That was great. I'm on 400,000.
Okay, we'll move to that one then. Proposed budget amendment to recognize $405,433.80 in TNECD Connected Communication Grant Funds and appropriate $450,482 for the construction and furnishing at the senior center facility.
So is this the last money for it?
So this grant we was awarded last spring, and they were still in the building process of the senior center. We're still in the building process, but we're nearing the end of that. And so this grant was actually awarded for us to furnish that building. And since construction is moving along, we're actually hitting some things now that we need to use the grant money to pay for. So that's why it's not it's in tonight.
Okay. Ooh. So does the attorney and our internal auditor have to sign off on these?
This is a budget amendment. I don't think so.
Okay. All right, so the answer is no, then they don't have to. Well, did they sign off on?
This is, so this is recognizing funds from a grant and it's appropriating it. It's not really
Okay, so I'll go back to your answer, and we think it doesn't have to.
Now, what's the contract cost for the,
Okay.
this
a
fund?
contract one, yes.
Okay.
Any other
That was
questions? Number 5, proposed ordinance to amend Title 8, Chapter 1, Section 101-1 concerning alcoholic beverages to correct a,
Scribner's.
thank you. This,
There's a number that, I think that was incorrect.
Yeah, you're changing the
We're
5 to a 3.
we're changing a citation. That's it.
okay, thank you. Any questions? Move to second reading. Proposed budget amendment to recognize and appropriate funds for $10,000, which was a donation from Love and Truth Church for K-9.
For a canine officer.
Ma'am?
A canine officer.
K-9.
Dog.
The school and the dog, and everybody's gonna be happy, but I did try to actually hit on that it is a donation. We're not giving that money. Yes. Anything else you wanna say?
No, we just appreciate them donating.
Yeah, it's really nice.
For sure, real generous gift.
Yeah, we might need to make some PSA, so maybe more people would consider doing something like that, but. Anyway. Number 2, proposed budget amendments to recognize additional $31,758 reimbursement from West Tennessee Healthcare for this shot spotter.
They pay a certain portion of the area around the hospital, and that's their portion that they're paying for that.
That really seems helpful.
It is.
Yeah. And number 3, consideration of an ordinance to amend city code relative to the sale and use of fireworks. Any discussion from last week on that? Okay. Number 4, consideration of an ordinance to create a cost-saving incentive program. Okay. Consideration of a plan of service proposed annexation for zoning for an area referred to as George White, compromising of 30.21 acres more or less located in north of Garrison Drive and Pine Hill Cove. The proposed zoning is RS-2, Single Family Residential District. And just a little side note, when you're concerned about your RS1, RS2, you can go to the city's website and look that up. So when you have constituents that are concerned, you can quote them that size. Number 6, consideration of plan of service proposed annexation and zoning for an area referred to as Joel McAlexander, compromising of 3.35 acres more or less located at the 300 block of Cooper Anderson Road. The proposed zoning is RS-2. Number 7, consideration of plan of service proposed annexation of zoning for an area referred to as Harris, compromising of 21.6 acres located at the southeast corner quadrant of US 45 bypass and Highway 45 north. The proposed zoning is B5, which is Highway Business District. Questions? Okay. Number 8, consideration of ordinance to rezone property located at the northwest corner of McFarland Road and Pleasant Plain Roads from R-S Single Family Residential Flood Hazard to District RS-1 FH, which is Single Family Residential Flood Hazard District. This is compromising of 38.21 acres. Moving to new business, consideration of a contract with Waypoint Analytical for monitoring the Jackson-Madison landfill on Highway 70.
We submitted this to you. This is the monitoring of the old landfill that's on 70 East, and it's something that you'll have to do until they tell you don't have to do it.
So it's a quarterly thing.
It comes up regularly, so, and the price goes up over
I
time.
think they check it, put it out, they report annually.
15-page report.
Yeah. But it's,
The contact says Bobby Arnold.
Yeah,
Just an FYI.
that's why I ended up with it.
I'm sorry.
Because I was the only other
He was
bald guy.
close.
Your office is on
I'm
first,
getting
second,
there.
and third floor.
Yeah, I was the only other bald guy on the second
Oh.
floor.
Sorry. Okay, moving to, number 2, consideration of a contract with Gales LLC for fire department uniform items.
So this contract is for the Jackson Fire Department. We took sealed bids for the fire department's uniforms. Along with the uniform items, this also includes hemming, printing, and embroidery services. 2 bids were received. It's a recommendation of the Jackson Fire Department to award this bid to Galls LLC as best bid. In your packets, the pricing for the uniform items are broken down by a line item. This will be a 1-year contract, and the city will have 4 1-year options to renew. You'll see the different breakdowns from gender to size and the different uniform items they requested.
Okay. Thank you, Zach.
Were you guys were here to speak on that, or but there's nothing to speak on? Okay, just wanted to make sure. You didn't need anything.
Thank you all for being here tonight. Okay, moving to number 3, consideration of a contract with TLM for the Sportsplex infield turf project.
Okay, so this item is for the Sportsplex. Request for qualifications were taken for the infield turf project. This selected firm is to serve as both the project manager and the engineer for the replacement of infields with artificial turf playing surfaces and drainage on all 17 out there, right? Okay. 2 RFQs are received. It's recommendation evaluation team to award this RFQ to TLM as best RFQ. Pricing for these services can be found on page 8 in your packets. The current total is $255,730, along with the project's hourly rate schedule, which is on the last page.
How many bids did you say?
Have either one of these had done this type work before?
Both submittals had experience in the turf world, if I remember correctly, but Jason's also here.
They had both.
No, Jason can.
So, yes, both, so TLM and Athletic Surfaces Plus were the 2 that filled out the RFQs. And we had an evaluation team that evaluated the RFQs, and TLM did get the bid, or got the evaluation team's recommendation to move forward with the project. I've had a scope meeting with TLM. They are trying to figure out, because our next step before anything can happen is the project has to be designed. And then, so TLM would come in and design the project. So they're designing everything and then creating the bid packet to go out for the actual construction project.
So after, you'll come back with other bidding on.
Yes, so what this does, so the 255,730 came in at about, right at 6.4% of the overall $4 million project that we submitted earlier. So, and then with the total project estimate, and again, we're at the mercy of the bids, but the total project estimate that came in that we built everything off of was $3.741 million for the construction. So we are within the $4,010,000 that was in the original request. Again, we're at the mercy of the bid process, but TLM seems to be very aggressive, coming in at 6.4% for the A&E on this, and have all the confidence in the world that they'll design the very best facility that we can have.
Good aggressive.
Yeah.
Good aggressive.
Yeah, so my question was answered. Both of these have designed artificial ball fields before, both of them.
Yes.
Good.
So like with TLM, it's TLM is the engineering firm, and their other firm is
Lowe's.
Los. Yeah.
Out of
And they're
Nashville.
So
right.
both got experience in, okay.
Yes.
How long does the turf last?
The turf will be somewhere between, it'll be field by field, because it's going to depending on the usage of individual fields. 8 to 12 years. They're going to say 8, you under warranty for 8. And then when you replace it, you're only replacing the turf itself. The initial install is all the grade work, the drainage, and everything else. So the rule of thumb right now is that your install price will be somewhere between $12 and $14 a square foot. It'll be 40% of that when you have to come and resurface, but you won't have to resurface all at once. It'll be complex by complex, year over year, depending on the amount of usage on each in particular field.
And Jason is committing to $1 million a year extra revenue.
Well, there's gonna be.
I will say this, Commissioner, or Councilman Lawrence, so he was a commissioner for a whole lot longer than he was a councilman in my previous life. So as of right now, and knock on wood that this will be where we finish this year, that we've lost 4 tournaments this year because of hurricanes in the fall, and we've had 13 inches of rain on a weekend already this year. Would we have played on those weekends? We wouldn't have lost the entire weekend. I can guarantee you that. And so with just that revenue coming in, we're going to finish this year. My budget and revenue was around 1.5 million this year. Right now, we're going to come in around 1.6. And if we don't lose those 4 tournaments, we're at about 1.75, 1.8. And then with the additional teams, right now we're in that 1,800 range. We're going to have 2,300 teams. So direct revenue to us, I can confidently say $500,000. And then the additional hotel motel tax and occupancy tax that'll be coming in directly to the city from that, and then the sales tax, but then the economic impact is exponential on that.
If you get $500,000 there, you can.
Yeah. So because the occupancy tax will make up anything additionally. So.
All excited about
500,000.
Yeah.
We're all at the mercy of the bid process.
No.
The bid process was a question I had. Because
So the timing on that, TLM's ready to roll.
Okay.
And I know with the contract, this is approving the contract, but then there's questions because this money is still coming out of bond issue. So for TLM to get rolling, I'm assuming, and this is a question for Nathan and the mayor, on how, if they can start the design, because as soon as they start, they're going to start billing. And if we don't have the bond issue yet, we probably have to wait. But they're ready to roll, because the quicker they get going on the design process, the quicker we will be able to get the bid packets out. And we need to get this started just as soon as possible. I'm hearing, because they don't even, until we get the bid process going, we're not sure where we're going to finish, but this is a start. They did say a month to 6 weeks to get the design done and bid packets together, so.
I guess just keep us
Absolutely.
updated, because we don't want to get into the situation where we had something last year, and we want to make sure that we can try to stay within budget.
And you will see, and I asked Nathan the question in my budget request for FY26, I do have the turf project in that capital request. Nathan, we asked Nathan, and Nathan said to put it in, but it's technically part of the bond issue, so I don't know where that.
It's been taken out.
We took it out. Just to be consistent, because nobody else was in there.
Okay.
So,
You took it out of what? We took it out of next year's capital budget because it's in the bond issue capital
See,
budget.
Because he wasn't.
We don't want to double.
Yeah, we don't want to double,
put it,
we don't want to double book
dip.
for it.
I had to check with the police on that.
Well, yeah, so I'll just make it so where it falls and how it falls, but I'll keep, as we go through this process, but the first step is getting the contract with TLM, getting the design done, getting the bid packets, and then getting the bid packets out. And I think it'll be a very heavily bid project.
Right. Thank you so much. Zach, did you have?
And some of the things that Nathan spoke about earlier, with the new system, that will be some of the trackability we'll be able to use with both project module and the expense tracking. So that we can be able in real time see how much we're spending towards that project.
Right. Any other questions? Okay. We'll move to Housing Commission, consideration of our boards and committees. Housing Commission, appointment of Adam Johnson to replace unexpired term of Andrew Massey.
Yes, both this item and the next one, we had 2 members of the Housing Commission resign, so got some recommendations from members of the commission on who would be good fits for it and for its work. First was Adam Johnson with Habitat for Humanity due to the work they do building houses for people with low income. And then the next one I'll just say is the developer that y'all heard a presentation from and his expertise in the impact of zoning on housing prices.
Is the Housing Commission running smoothly? Were there any reasons that or were these expected resignations?
I think due to their busier,
Unexpired
busier schedules, they asked to roll off. There was a little bit of a break because Lauren in the mayor's office was running that commission, and when she moved to United Way, I took over that commission. So there was a little bit of break in its operations, but it's up and running monthly again.
They should have.
They're going to be presenting their recommendations to you. We're shooting for July, maybe August, but pretty soon.
Right. Recreation and Parks Advisory Board. And that is Mark Winston. Do you have any comment or anything?
Yeah, he's, this will be his second term, on our board. He's great.
Okay, thank you. Then we have budget amendments less than 10,000, consideration of invoices over 10,000. And Richard and his mama, would you like to adjourn that?
I would, so moved.
Thank you all. What?